next up we're going to talk about what jobs are going to be eliminated by technology. Technology has the, ability to put a lot of people out of work, even us, programmers out of work, the very people making the technology.
Sorry, Zynga.
Yeah. I don't think that is not related. That was greed.
Yes.
So let's hear, what do you think, what jobs are going to be replaced by technology, and then what jobs are going to be created by technology? So
first, let's look at the history. I mean, technology obviously, destroyed farming. The Industrial Revolution kind of got rid of manufacturing jobs, things like making clothes, anything factory-wise. Technology destroyed Detroit because everything now is assembly lines with robots, et cetera, et cetera. It's continuing in that direction now. Electronics have become significantly easier to build. Everything's moved to China, and a lot of that's becoming automated also. The jobs that remain now are largely skill-based jobs. Anything that involved labor in the past has largely been replaced by machinery.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at, they have fast food machines now that they're looking to employ where...
It's just anything that involves a physical human to move, like if something needs to be moved or done with some amount of physical motion or something, that can be replaced with technology.
Anything that doesn't involve a lot of computation. In a sense.
So I think that in areas where we need people to just sort of perform repeatable processes.
What about even
repetitive?
Being creative? What's that?
What about even being creative? Like, will writers ever be put out of a job?
Well, that's
So I think that's where we're going to move into then some of the things that probably will not be replaced by technology, or at least in my opinion.
You think? Like artists? I think art can definitely...
Well, so it depends on what is the value of the art to you. So the value of, like a farm is trying to produce, vegetables or whatever you're growing. So we want to find out the most efficient way to produce that as possible. And as robots get cheaper and more effective, we can do that. Art or music, say, like robots can create great music. But is...
I mean, look at Daft Punk.
Right. Is the value there to create the largest quantity of music in the most efficient amount of time? No. In fact, you go to a concert and you want to see people doing it, or at least I like to see people doing it, because I think that's cool. Like, the person actually has intrinsic value, because that's difficult. Like, when I see a cool drummer, somebody who's an incredible drummer, I like that because that person has value just because it was hard and I know he spent a lot of time. A robot can drum 10 times better than he can, but that's not the point. So I don't see that being replaced because it removes the value.
Well, as a counterpoint, though, you look before the printing press, for instance, if you wanted art on your wall, you basically had to get somebody to draw something.
Right.
Now you go get a print made.
Sure.
You stick a poster up there. And for music, before anytime you wanted music, somebody had to perform it. Now you go to Spotify and hit play.
But then, ironically,
the number of people making art is moving down.
It is, but to that effect, because a lot of that is becoming commoditized, you now have, especially in San Francisco, you now have the artisan movement. That's we're going to take things. It's a backlash to all that. Where we're going to take things that were hard, then became easy, and now we're going to make them hard again. Like letterpress and things like that. We can make things with letterpresses and handmade clothing. Well, it's like, oh, why? Oh, because it's hard. Yeah, you can make it a lot cheaper with robots, but we don't want robots to make it. We want something that took like blood, sweat, and tears to make it because it's better that way.
Right. So do you think there's a movement that's going back to having real people make like leather goods? I mean, granted, we live in the Mission, which is pretty I need some artisanal chocolates with my
with
feral wine or whatever.
I mean,
I'm just making up
words
now.
It's still though kind of a small niche market of consumerism.
Yeah,
it's rich people want the fanciness of saying this is unique because it was handmade.
Right, sure.
That's what that is. And I mean, getting back to the original topic, what in the future will kind of disappear. I think more and more things that are able to be repeated will kind of be, like the way those things, like if you look at something like
fast food restaurants.
Yeah. Well, like you enter an order and hamburger. So, okay, so then back to, you said artists. All right, fine. So let's say, for instance, we have We have a machine and it just goes ahead and paints things on a canvas, right? It's not printed, it's better for whatever. So who creates the art then? Who designs the artwork? Eventually, like, it goes like higher and higher and higher. Like, well, if someone designed the artwork, then who designs the thing that designs the artwork? I mean, you're literally adding levels of abstraction onto the process, and you eventually that can be reduced to having like one of two outcomes: either the robots control everything, or there is a human on the top of the chain. That's it.
I don't think there will be a human on top of the chain. I mean, have you read Isaac Asimov's like iRobot series?
Yeah.
I mean, I think computers will learn how to take care of themselves better than we ever could.
Maybe.
And then what use are we? Right? What jobs do we create then?
Matrix.
I mean, seriously, what jobs do we have at that point when everything's kind of just?
I mean, if it can do all of the things that we can do, including the creation and maintenance, like, then Matrix. We plug in and they suck the energy out. That's about it.
So somehow we got to the Matrix discussing this.
Well, because in the future, what we're saying is there won't be any jobs.
What is the role of humans?
But more directly, in the next 10 years, what kind of things are going to become less common? As opposed to, 300 years from now, the robots take over the world.
So taxi drivers.
Yeah.
Automated cars.
Transportation is going to be a big one. So in terms of, it's going to be
robotics.
all automated.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing a lot of automated restauranting, food service. That's going to be big. Subway, we don't need to hire people there anymore. We can just start producing sandwiches.
Yeah. I think a lot of stuff in the medical field will start being replaced. I think diagnostics, like diagnosing people, you have this disease, I think can become massively more automated. A nurse just comes in, takes your blood pressure, maybe takes a blood sample, sticks into a machine, it pops out, you have gonorrhea.
Why a nurse? Why?
Yeah, why not a robot?
Or you stick your arm in a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like self-service. It's self-service diagnosis.
They literally have this at Kaiser now, apparently. My friend John went to get a blood test at Kaiser, and they literally have a line with one person right now who takes your blood. You wait in line, it's just a person who takes blood sample, blood sample, blood sample.
Yeah, no, sure.
One after another. Eventually it's just going to be a machine.
Yeah, you put your arm in the thing, and then you pull it out, and it has a Band-Aid on it. But also, customer service in general.
Okay.
Just customer service.
Do you think people will start paying more money one day to interact with people?
Yes.
Well, you do that already now. You go to a sit-down restaurant, you get a lot more service than you do at McDonald's. You're still talking to a person. So I think there'll be...
Yeah, like customer service lines, when you with like the airlines, if you can pay money or if you have status, that gets you to a person faster versus an automated system trying to figure out what you want.
You think people in general will be there just as like interaction mates? I guess there's no work required by them other than just to be like, hey, how are you doing today? And you're like, I feel more human because you touched me. I will.
So actually, here's one of the
touch.
One of the things is we would pay more money for humans because right now we're struggling with getting our needs answered by computers. So for example, in like the phone tree example, we'd rather talk to a person because we're struggling to get our needs met by the phone tree. When the phone tree improves in intelligence and the humans stay at the same level of mild intelligence, you actually may prefer a phone tree because you know that you can get what you want faster from the phone tree than a human. So it actually could change as computers get smarter.
It's because usually when you're calling your credit card company or something, it's a complicated problem that the machines can't.
They can't understand.
Okay, but something like when you're buying groceries, I'd much rather use the self checkout now.
What happens?
Absolutely.
Why even have the self checkout? But anyway, what happens when we have realistic androids? Would you one day want to know that you're dealing with a real human as opposed to a realistic humanoid?
Well, now you're getting into a whole wider
conversation
this is about our.
I know we're kind of straight off the path here, but these are very interesting questions.
Our AI.
Because like we're looking at like the far future,
Rights.
Well, I mean, would you prefer? Does it matter?
I have no idea. I don't live in that future.
If the interface you get is like the output is still the same.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
If the output is still the same, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally the.
So then we're back to nobody has jobs.
Yeah.
I mean,
what about the people?